Today we're talking about grinding. No, not laying it down crazy style or even getting absolutely wicked. Grinding in video games. Grinding stands for getting riggedy, inquisitively down near your mama. The definition for grinding that I'm using is a repetitive action or task in a game for a reward. This could be divulged into 3 tiers: the good, the bad, and the ugly. And much like my mom giving birth to me, we're starting on the ugly one.
Years after our great nation began, we gathered together to honor the completion of Vault 76. This sprawling underground shelter may have been engineered by Vault Tech, but it was built by you. So that if the bombs do come, our way of life will endure.
Most people don't truly understand just how hype Fallout 76 was. A 6th grade moose who was totally obsessed with Fallout 4 at the time had heard about some mysterious Fallout stream that was going to be happening in the Bethesda Twitch. So I sat there and watched this loading screen for hours.
Just works.
Until our Lord and Savior came across my screen with one of the greatest teaser trailers of all time. But I am sure you all remember what happened next. Quick side note, I have only ever pre-ordered 3 games, those being Fallout 76, Cyberpunk 2077, and WWE 2K20. Don't pre-order games. But dare I say, I still had a lot of fun with the game, despite all of its glaring issues. It has one of the least toxic communities.
Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him now.
And the gameplay loop feels fun, for the most part. The section I'm speaking on here specifically came from the Wastelanders expansion, which added human NPCs into the game, as well as a whole new currency, Gold Bullion. Gold Bullion was a currency rewarded to you for completing daily quests and in-game events, the reward being that the Gold Bullion was used to buy the end-game armors and weapons. Essentially, for completing the daily quests as well as the events in the game, you'd receive treasury nodes that can be turned into gold bullion. And here's where the first issue is. When you go in to do it, you realize that there is a limit on the amount of gold bullion you can earn daily. At the time when Wastelanders first dropped, that limit was 200 a day. So all I wanted from the gold bullion dealer was this, in hindsight, very ugly Secret Service armor set, which, after you do the math of the daily amount of gold bullion you can do and the price of these, it would add up to almost 4 straight months of perfect grinding and doing the gold bullion grind every single day. So why is this the ugly, you might ask? Other than how bad this armor looks, grinding in games shouldn't have a daily limit. It took about 45 minutes, give or take, to get the max of 200 gold bullion. But I was a busy moose. Why can't I spend hours grinding this game on the weekend? Why do I have to do it every day? I have work. And that's when I had a great realization. So at the time, Moose wasn't doing all that good. I was very overweight, unhygienic, not really caring for school. I was laid off of a job and just not liking my new one at all. It was just not a good time. I used video games as a way to escape how I feel and what people thought of me. And as I sat there grinding on Fallout 76 of all games for this just really bad looking armor set, I realized, why am I miserable playing a game for a goal when I can be miserable in real life for much better effects? I went out and got a gym membership that night. Starting to work out is like starting your own lawnmower. I like to say that for most people there's like a 3-time trial period before someone really sticks to it. You start, and then you stop because you hate it, and then you hate yourself more, so you start again, but then you stop because you're not motivated, then you go back and you try it at your house, but then finally you go back and you just get it. And soon enough, working out goes from a chore to something you can't live without. You may ask, Moose, why are you talking about the gym? This is a video about video games, and I'm getting there. Derek, sit down and be patient. After about a year of consistently working out, I returned to Fallout 76, expecting to be able to just return to grinding like I did before, but it just didn't hit the same. It was like I had seen what a fun grind can look like. Now, that's not to say I'm better than someone who grinds on games because I grind in real life. What I am saying though is that games can learn so much from working out, and some do elicit that same feeling while falling short in a few areas. One of the major parts that grips someone working out is the progression. After about a month, the weights start to get lighter, that treadmill walk is easier than usual, and it just fills you with power and motivation to move forward. And that progression leads to that magic moment, that PR, that mile ran, that marathon completed. It's that moment that makes it all worth it, that satisfaction that shows that you've improved and grown, and yet the next day you want to go back and do it all again. So we have the first two on our checklist: a sense of progression and provides milestones. A game that exemplifies these traits perfectly is this kind of small indie game, you guys might have not heard of it, called I feel like when people are talking about grinding, no one really talks about GTA Online, despite it being one of, if not the biggest online game of all time. But the GTA money grind is addictive. Searching up for the absolute most optimal method to get money every day, where you have to have this bunker over here, these 2 penthouse upgrades, then you gotta have a car factory there, CEO missions there, just leads to this super satisfying experience. What this accomplishes through the grind is that real sense of progression. Saving up for weeks for the bigger warehouse or bigger bunker upgrade to make even more cash is so satisfying. It makes you want more and to keep growing, keep grinding. And then, those milestones. Finally getting those things that don't help you grind, that yacht, that hangar and some jets, that fully customized MOC, that supercar. Everything is just fun to play with and makes you want to start that grind all over again. So you may ask, Mos, you've been sitting here talking and slobbering all over Rockstar's schmeat. What makes this the bad? And stop interrupting, Derek. This grind is almost unplayable without an entire protective unit and group of goons to do your bidding. Almost every single product sell at a high level involves you using multiple people, which is so counter to this being fun, especially when you can't split the goods. If you could just split the profit, then you could easily have a group of friends where you all split the money. But instead you have to beg your buddies to maybe help you. It'd be like if you had 4 friends with you when you work out who exclusively bring you the weights and squirt the water into your mouth like little gym goblins. And of course, the griefing. Now, spoiler, one of the other things on our list is a challenge. However, what am I supposed to do when I'm delivering product in a little buggy and a 9-year-old in a sci-fi flying motorcycle comes by to ruin my day? Imagine you're in the gym and a man who doesn't work out but has a crowbar snaps your knees in the middle of a squat PR. Both of these combine to make a really frustrating experience trying to play this game alone. And of course, I understand that this is an online game, but trying to get your friends to chauffeur your product makes me feel like a wee little lad asking for pennies on the street. Quick sidebar. I realized that Rockstar updated it so that you can deliver in private lobbies, but you still need people, like if you want to do a high sell, because the time will run. Whatever. Back to the video. Don't worry though, GTA, at least you hit 2 of the boxes, unlike super dookie Fallout 76.
Ew! What an interesting artifact.
I do have hundreds of hours on this game, but I really consider it a good time. I hate gold bullion. I hate it. If you ask anyone who works out regularly, I bargain that they say the challenge of the gym, while is mostly in showing up, the fun part of that If you ask anyone who works out regularly, I'd bargain that they'd say that the real challenge in the gym is showing up every day. But the actual fun challenge of the gym is those hard lifts, those cardios where you push yourself to your limits, those times where you know you have 1 rep left in the tank, even as your muscles are shutting down. And that challenge what makes working out so satisfying. Along with progression and those milestones, they all go into making working out so engaging and addictive once you really get into it. To the point where it doesn't feel like grinding anymore. It doesn't feel like a chore. And that's what a good game should do. When you're grinding, it shouldn't feel like it. There's no game that makes me feel more badass than Monster Hunter World. My friend convinced me to buy Monster Hunter by telling me it's Dark Souls, but with monsters. And that was enough for me to pick it up, but that description doesn't even scratch the surface of how good this game is. In Monster Hunter, the grind is gathering materials of certain monsters to get armors and weapons. But Lord, it does not feel like it. With every hunt, you hone your skills, your combos, your reactions. Every time you go out, you're better than the last. But those first few times chasing a particular monster are hard. But then you get that moment where you make that piece of garbage that's been tripping you up for hours limp, and then you finally can take it out. It's absolutely magic. This is the Odegarin armor. It's my favorite armor in the game, and it's not because of how it looks, though it does look absolutely sick, but because it took me 16 times to kill this monster for the first time. But even after all that, all I wanted to do was go back and do it again and again and again. And now I know everything about this thing. Its combos, where it goes, its territory. And finally getting the Odegarin armor after just hours and hours of grinding Odegarin kills and cutting off its tail and everything is just so perfect. Please, for the love of God, pick up this game. I beg you, it will raise your bar for what grinding can be. But there's one more game that exemplifies these traits perfectly. Never did I think I would take so much joy in doing daily chores. Concerned Ape certifiably cooked here. Every moment of running around, watering your crops, and gaining XP, not a second of it feels like a grind, despite it fitting that description to a T. The challenge of fishing and mining,
It's first level. Why? How?
the engaging and intuitive farming gameplay, every upgrade and better tools and more animals, and then that moment that makes it all worth it when you upgrade that house and get to have your little virtual family. Or even better, when Grandpa sits you down and tells you if you've done good or not. Chances are you've already played this game, but if not, please do. If you look online for grindy games, there's not one person talking about Stardew Valley. And that's because not a second of it feels like a grind. But that's what a game should do. Games shouldn't make you feel like you're doing a chore. These games are escapism. They are supposed to be fun, not something that you dread but do anyway. And games like Stardew Valley and Monster Hunter achieve this perfectly. Alright, y'all. That's going to be it out of me. I just want to say real quick, thank you guys so much for all the love and support on the last video. It did like way better than I could have ever imagined, and all the comments are super nice, and I got likes and everything and a couple new subscribers, so hello to everyone who's come for that video. I hope you stick around. But yeah, outro over. Subscribe for more certified goober content.